Hi, and welcome back to AI in 5. As always, I'm your host, Simon Chris. And joining me today is Sarel Roets. Sarel's the CEO of Trust AI. And we're going to be talking about how the intersection of customer experience and AI has changed over the last couple of years. Hi, Sarel, and welcome to AI in 5. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Chris. Pleasure to be here.
Now, you, like me, are kind of in that intersection of AI and CX. And I know that it changes a lot. I wrote a book 2 years ago, and I think it was out of date about 3 days after I wrote it. But you're living and breathing this stuff every day. What are you seeing? What's changed and over what time horizon?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in that sense of it's moving so fast. Technology is actually, specifically in the CX space, has never moved so fast that it is today.
Mm.
And I mean, we talk about, LLM V1, kind of thing. So when it first came out, a lot of people go, "Hey, we've got data, we give it to the LLM, and then it comes back, and then that's great."
Yep.
And that's kind of like the V1 and the yesterdays of the Gen AI and CX journey. But now we are moving to what we talk about agentic infrastructure. We're talking about reasoning. We're talking about memory. And for a lot of companies, they're still in that first phase, and we are already moving to the second phase. And even the platform and the technology that we build, we had to rethink of the way that we implement our infrastructure specifically for that. And I always talk about you have organizations that's pre-2023,
Yep.
and they generally struggle in a nice sense of the word because they have their preset architecture and big platforms that they then have to add AI on top of it. And that comes with its own challenges and things like that. And then now all of a sudden you have this new infrastructure and architecture and agentic ways and MCPs and whatever, buzzword you want to throw around. And even us as an organization that was pre-2020 or post-2023, sorry, we again, after 12 months, had to look at that infrastructure and architecture to make sure that we can scale
Yeah.
and provide
Wow.
that for customers.
Okay. And are you seeing the use cases change over time, or is it, we wanted to have a really good interaction with the customer, and that's still the case, just now it includes memory and agentic processes and blah blah blah, or has the use cases actually changed over time?
I don't think the use cases necessarily have changed, and it's mainly because the technology is actually only today there where it can actually rapidly give you that ROI that you initially intended to get,
Mm,
maybe 18 months ago. But the other common fact is businesses and people don't really understand until they actually use the platform and the technology what is possible. So
mm.
therefore, the initial use cases of call summary, auto QA, a little bit of insights, that still remains. But what we now help customers do is, okay, you need to think further and broader than that. So what if we can actually take away all of that, like we call it data analysis as a service or data science as a service,
Yep.
that you can literally prompt and ask all those questions that you actually wanted to get out from the previous 12 months. So the use cases stay the same. Customers are now just getting additional value or faster value from them.
Yeah, and what are you seeing as any blockers? Why I come across so many chatbots that are still really clunky, or they're based on RNN, CNN type technology. What's stopping companies from going to full generative AI, reasoning AI type chatbots and things?
Yeah, I think a lot is to do with, like as mentioned before, is that internal mindset of, hey, a chatbot needs to do this or a voice agent needs to do that, without actually understanding what your end customers are talking about. And the way that we approach that is we look at historical conversations and we understand how customers are interfacing with your brand. And then we use that information to inform what the persona and the conversational style is for that
Mm.
particular chatbot. So that's the way that we kind of build our platform to make that easier for customers. So it's really important to understand how the end customer operates. Because traditionally, like with chatbots or IVRs, you kind of build like this go track. I call it a
Yep.
go track. But you say, hey, I have the business decide, hey, how this is the flow you're going to go because I have these systems here and
Yep.
you need to fit in with our process, Mr. Customer.
Yep.
where we say, no, 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 don't do that. Let's listen to the customer and let's design a journey based on each individual customer, which will ultimately then result in a higher NPS or CSAT or whatever measurement. I mean, that's also another story,
Yeah.
those metrics. But just in general terms, we find that customers are generally more happy.
Yeah, listening to a customer, well, that'll never work. Look, we're right. We're right at time, believe it or not. We've already gone through 5 minutes. I know this could go on for 2 hours. I love to ask everybody the same question, and I'll ask it of you. What would be your one bit of advice for an organization just starting their AI journey? What should they be doing? What should they be thinking about?
There's two things that I would always say to customers. The first is what I just mentioned is listen to your customers. And listen is by understanding your historical conversations to inform your future kind of journeys for your customers. That's super important because you will then understand what they need and want. And the second part is make sure you own your AI. Don't send your data to models that you don't know what's happening to them, or you're sending it overseas, or you're sending it to this, because generally customers change platforms, CCaaS platform every 5 to 7 years. So you need to make sure that you own that AI if and when and how you want to move across, because that AI is being shaped by you for your customers.
Yeah, great advice. Awesome advice along the lines too of sovereignty of your AI
Exactly.
data. Sarel, thank you so much for being a part of AI and Five. I look forward to chatting soon.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.